Good morning, and thank you for staying with Business AM. This is the final set of the show, and we are about to talk about the future of digital education in the country. My guest is already in studio with me from Riara University, and I'll give her the privilege to introduce herself to the viewer. Please tell the viewer who you are and what you do.
My name is Susan Maina. I'm volunteering for the Digital Education Hackathon that's happening for the first time this year. Yeah.
And what is the Digital Education Hackathon? Because we just know education. So, and hack, when you think of the word hack, you're like, oh, okay. So what is this program or project about?
So this is a program that was commissioned by the European Commission. They set up an action plan to look for innovative ways and to innovate the future of education, because education, as it has been traditional methods of education, but the world is evolving and we're moving to a digital age. So how the hackathon is about, how can we digitize education? How can we use technology to be able to bring an education aspect to it? Yeah.
And to what end? Why does the world, or why does the European Union feel the need to start digitizing education in different parts of the world, and Africa, Kenya, for example?
I think the reason why they would like to bring a digital aspect is because education has been in a traditional or a certain way for a long time. But the world is evolving to a digital age. Everything is on the internet. Every kind of thing is on the internet. So how can we provide, or how can we, by bringing all stakeholders from universities to students to lecturers, how can they utilize digital technologies into the promotion of education and bettering how education is delivered for the future of education?
Now, let's talk about the Kenyan context. How does it come into play? What are some of the practical things that we'll see?
So the hackathon will bring together stakeholders, students, university lecturers, business entrepreneurs, to point out some of the challenges that the education sector is being faced with right now, and incorporate new digital technologies, or incorporate ways in which they can bring technology on board to better or to solve these challenges that we have in our education sector.
I like the fact that you've mentioned challenges, and I want us to talk about some of those challenges, maybe from where you sit. What are some of those challenges that you guys have been able to see and maybe identify in the education sector?
I would say some of the challenges, or better yet, obstacles that we face, some of it lectures or the education system has been made as an indoctrination, whereby a lecturer comes and gives you information, and that information you're supposed to reproduce it at the end of the semester to pass your exams. But what if we could make the education more of a learning experience, whereby it's not an indoctrination of teaching you A, B. What if you can be able to disseminate, if for lack of a better word, to think about what is A, what is B, what is C, and provide a solution? Because I feel like the indoctrination makes us think in a certain way, but if we're exposed to digital experiences and solutions, it will be able to bring about thinking, so that you can be able to go out there and create a solution, a social economic solution, that when you go out there, say you've learned a business course, what is a social economic solution that you can provide for a developing country like Kenya? So that is what I think.
We've talked about the challenges, and you've mentioned we can use new technology. How does this new technology come into play to solve the challenge? Case in point, maybe a practical example.
A practical example would be, for example, the use of robots. First, I would think using the AI technologies, we'd probably not have, first of all, I think it would be fun and interesting, because you have a robot in class.
Yes.
And second of all, it would beg people to ask different questions, like feeding a robot information and it can do all those things. I feel like it would create a different dynamic, a different way of thinking for students even to be curious about what they're learning about, apart from the normal traditional method where a lecturer comes, stands in front of you. What if lecturers could incorporate AI into their teaching methods? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I like the fact that we are also talking about solution-oriented education.
Yes.
Looking at the Kenyan context, we are not short of problems. So what are some of the solutions that this kind of education might be bringing forth to try and solve the Kenyan problems that we're currently experiencing?
I think one of the things that would a solution-oriented education would do is it would be able to solve very many that when people get out of the university, they not only want to get employed, but they have something, they have identified a problem. Say if they're studying law, for example, they identify that sometimes it might be hard to find a lawyer, and they come up with, say, an app that enables them to, you create an app where lawyers can fill their information, and when anybody who has access to the internet can go through the app and see, I need, say, a contracts lawyer, and I'd go through the app and get a lawyer who get in touch with a lawyer who can help me with the contract in any part of this country. Yes.
Okay. Now let's talk about cost, because some of these things do not come for free or do not come cheap. How do we ensure that we have integrated the cost factor, we have it at the back of our mind, so that this is possible, and also how do we create an enabling environment for this kind of technology and innovation to work seamlessly in the Kenyan education system?
I think one of the most important things is to realize that we are starting from, we're not starting from 100. We're starting from, say, 30, because first of all, we already have internet, and a lot of people have internet, and different companies have come up with even the cheapest form of internet. So, and for innovation to work, we have to take step by step. We have to take a step-by-step approach. We can't go from 0 to 100. So yes, seamlessly by incorporating programs in the universities, in our local universities that we are already set in place. Like for example, digitizing classes that people can do, for say, for example, cuts online.
Do you do that in your university?
Cuts online?
Yeah.
Not really, but there's a platform where there's Google Classroom, where you can be able to, when the lecturer sends an assignment, you do it and you upload it online, which is easier because I can do it from home because I have access to internet and I have Google Classroom. Yeah.
Okay, very interesting there. And you know, sometimes when technology comes, it's always concentrated in urban areas, in towns, for example, Nairobi. How do we ensure this kind of technology trickles down to even grassroots levels? Because, I mean, I was in uni once, and submitting assignments is always chaotic. And two, sometimes if you've printed out your assignment, the probability of your assignment getting lost is like 99.9. So how do we ensure this kind of technology? Because it's not that difficult. Uploading my assignment is not a lot of work. I can be in the library studying, upload my assignment, keep studying, other than running about looking for the lecturer.
Yes, that's true. But I think that wouldn't be hard if we could get universities, because we have universities all over this country.
Yeah.
We have colleges, we have institutions, we have all these higher education platforms, and even in the most remote areas.
Okay.
By bringing them on board to take up these solutions, as simple as they could be, would be able to do this for us.
And how can universities and centers of learning be more involved in this kind of program in terms of research and contribution and innovation?
So the beauty about this hackathon, or what this hackathon is all about, is that we're bringing everyone on board, from the students to the lecturers to the university management. Everyone comes on board. And this means that everyone has a say on how, for instance, education will be delivered, how it will be delivered. So that means that everyone, it's not a fight of these guys say this, so we have to do this. It's an incorporation of every single party involved. Yeah.
What more can the government of Kenya do in partnership with the European Union to ensure, rather the European Commission, to ensure that this becomes a success?
I think what they would do to ensure this becomes a success is by, first of all, after the hackathon, there will be the best 3 solutions will be chosen and are expected to be the models of how it would be implemented. So by supporting the models that will come up with the best idea or the best innovative idea, that would be excellent, because it will be able to implement these solutions on the ground. Yeah.
Countries like Rwanda, India, China have really excelled in doing this kind of thing. What are some of the lessons we could borrow from them as we try and move into this digital age of learning?
I think some of the lessons that we could learn from them is that we don't go from 0 to 100, because I think most of the things we forget, we want to copy everything and take this and put it here and say it's going to work for us. But I think what we have to do is to accept the solution, the position that we're in, and move slowly to achieve this common goal. Yes.
Now let's talk more about the hackathon. Who are some of the people who will be there in terms of participants?
The participants are from all over the country, universities all over the country. Invites were sent to everyone, to universities, that means to students and to lecturers as well.
What is expected of them as they come into the hackathon?
What is expected? To bring innovative solutions that are around technology and how technology can be used to innovate or to change the dynamic of education. Yeah.
And what are some of the outcomes that you're looking to get from that hackathon once it's complete?
One of the major goals from this hackathon is to get an innovative solution that will revolutionize how education is being offered in Kenya, and also to create a curiosity of how we can better deliver education to the students, to everyone involved, like involve everyone. Yeah. And it will also be a fun event. Yeah.
Okay, now very briefly, your camera, I think it's camera 2. I want you to look into that camera, and maybe if someone is watching, their student in uni and they'd like to come and participate. And you know, innovation is innovation. Someone might say, I'm an innovator, I have this innovation, it's going to change the world. But what exactly should be the core of their innovation to make them stand out? 30 seconds.
Okay, so if you're looking to come for the hackathon, one of the major things is, one, it should be innovative, it should be new, and it should revolve around technology and how we can incorporate new technology into delivering of the education system. It will be fun, it will be engaging, and you'll get to learn a lot. So come and test your innovation and hope to win.
Is there a place for an amateur like myself? But Tabitha, the producer, will come because she does Game Changers, and that's where all the tech converges. So she'll be better placed to come and see what you guys are doing there. Great stuff you guys are doing. We're looking forward. Once the winners are announced, please do come back and tell us what are these innovations that are going to revolutionize the education sector in Kenya.
Definitely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
That has been all we had for you on Business AM today. We've been waking you up to business trends since 6:30 in the morning. It's roughly 8:20 something, almost 8:30 a.m. and we want to bid you goodbye. Every good thing has to come to an end. It has been a pleasure doing this show with you again. We'll see you again tomorrow. Same place, same time. It might be me, it might not. Who knows? We'll find out tomorrow.